The City of Edmonton is in the final stages of developing a new business license bylaw. This new bylaw will replace the current business license bylaw, which was introduced in 2002. City administration will present the proposed new bylaw to the Urban Planning Committee and City Council for 3 readings and adoption starting in June, with an expected implementation date of September 1st. Before the bylaw goes to council, members of the business community, including business owners and operators, and representatives from business associations and business improvement areas are invited to review the draft bylaw and provide feedback on the clarity and organization. The business license bylaw renewal project began in 2018. Over the past 3 years, administration has mainly focused on developing the content of the new bylaw. The content was informed by a jurisdictional review of licensing practices in 10 other municipalities in Canada, engagement with the business community at various stages of the project, and extensive consultation with regulatory partners. In total, 58 recommendations for changes to the content of the business license bylaw have already been accepted by the urban planning and executive committees of council. The recommendations were presented in 2 separate reports. The first report, with 23 recommendations, was presented to the Urban Planning Committee in May of 2019. These recommendations established key changes to the bylaw framework and fee structure. In other words, general changes to licensing requirements for most businesses. The second report, with 35 recommendations, was presented to the Executive Committee in October of 2020. These recommendations focused mainly on changes to license categories and requirements for specific types of businesses. For links to both reports, visit edmonton.ca/business license bylaw renewal. So what engagement has already been done up to this point? During the project planning stage, administration compiled a list of challenges with the current bylaw and opportunities for improvement. From September to December of 2018, administration worked with internal partners and surveyed Edmonton business owners registered on the city's Insight community to validate this list and fill in any potential gaps. In the first quarter of 2019, after completing a jurisdictional review and engaging with regulatory partners, members of the business community were invited to provide feedback on some of the more promising licensing practices seen in other municipalities that were being considered for Edmonton's business license program. Feedback was gathered through a combination of an online survey, facilitated workshops, and focus groups. In late 2019, administration engaged once again with business owners and operators and industry associations through roundtable discussions and telephone interviews, followed by a presentation and roundtable meeting with local business associations and business improvement areas in early 2020. This time, the emphasis was on licensing requirements for drinking establishments, scrap metal recyclers, massage therapists, and body rub centers, as many of the challenges identified with the current bylaw are specific to these types of businesses. Throughout the project, administration also had the opportunity to speak one-on-one with several business owners and hear their concerns through the normal course of business. One objective of the business license bylaw renewal project is to develop a bylaw that reduces barriers for businesses. Bylaws are not always easy documents to read, which can be a barrier in and of itself. Sometimes this can't be avoided, as specific words, phrases, and formats are needed to meet legal requirements. However, there are some opportunities to use simpler language that is easier to understand, and to use tables, headings, and schedules more effectively so information is easier to find. This is why administration is engaging with members of the business community once more to hear your thoughts on the clarity and organization of the draft bylaw before it is presented to City Council. You're invited to review the draft bylaw and provide feedback on its usability. Feedback is being accepted through an online survey between February 16th and March 5th. Start by going online to edmonton.ca/business license bylaw renewal, where you can access a copy of the draft bylaw and the online survey. If you want more information about the project and the work done to date, this page also provides links to the previous council and committee reports and a link to register for email updates. Next, read through the draft bylaw. It's over 50 pages long, so rather than reading the entire bylaw from beginning to end, we suggest that you review the draft the same way you would if you were looking up any information that is relevant to you or your business. As you are reviewing, please consider the clarity and organization of the information. Are you able to find the information you're looking for? Can you easily understand the language used throughout the bylaw and in the business category descriptions? And are the schedules easy to use? You may also find it helpful to keep a pen and paper handy so you can jot down the section number or heading of any parts of the bylaw you want to provide feedback on, as you will be asked to include these details when you complete the online survey. The last step is to complete the online survey, which will be open from February 16th to March 5th. You will be asked questions about the headings and table of contents, the clarity of the language, and the schedules at the end of the bylaw. All questions are optional. You can skip any questions that are not relevant to you or your business. The feedback you provide will help administration to refine the bylaw and make sure it is as clear and easy to use as possible. If you are commenting on specific portions of the bylaw, we encourage you to be as detailed as possible and include key information such as heading names or section numbers. Once all of the feedback is in, administration will spend until May finalizing the bylaw. Depending on the feedback provided, the language and organization of the bylaw may be refined. On June 29th, the new bylaw will be presented to the Urban Planning Committee and City Council for 3 readings and adoption. The meeting agenda will be posted a few days prior to the meeting. To access the agenda or to register to speak at committee, visit edmonton.ca and click on Council and Committee Meetings. In the meantime, preparations to implement the new bylaw are underway, which includes drafting policies and procedures, updating business technology, training staff, updating existing licenses, and communicating the changes to businesses. And finally, assuming it is adopted by Council in June, the new business license bylaw will come into effect on September 1st, and the existing bylaw will be repealed. If you would like more information about the business license bylaw renewal, visit edmonton.ca/business license bylaw renewal. You can also register to receive periodic email updates about the bylaw renewal, including information about the upcoming committee meeting. Thank you for taking the time to review the draft bylaw, and we look forward to your feedback.